Hey everybody, this is Samantha K and welcome to another episode of the Samantha K Experience. Welcome to episode 12 of season 2. I hope everybody is doing well tonight. Um, I know that we're gonna go and cover GTA 6 was the last thing that I said in my previous episode that I was gonna cover. I know it's been 3 months since the last trailer dropped, or I think the first trailer dropped. So this time I'm going to cover it briefly. My 2 cents on it. I just finished watching the trailer for trailer 2 the second time. And I gotta say, like the graphics is pretty out there. I think by far, without seeing any actual gameplay aside, I would say that this is really good. Like I thought GTA 5 graphics were pretty good, but I will have to say that Rockstar is they're doing their thing, man. I know that originally that the game was supposed to come out this year, but unfortunately it got pushed back to May 26th of 2026. Um, I think there's a special date around that date. And I'm gonna look into that. I'll probably, get back to you guys on that. But I think there's a significance about that date. Well, I gotta say, so now we got two people, two I guess protagonists or antagonists, anti-heroes. I guess I don't know. Like we have a first female lead, and then we have a male lead with Lucia and Jason respectively. And we're going right back to one of my favorite cities to play in a game franchise is Vice City. I love Vice City. I love the original game that had Tommy Vercetti in it, with the late great Ray Liotta voicing the character. The game had so many good characters in it and a lot of good missions and some quite annoying ones. Especially that one with the helicopter, the little helicopter thing that you had to go around the different floors and try to plant the bombs while the guys are working and they're trying to hit you with the with their hammers and stuff like that and risking blowing up the remote control helicopter. That mission was annoying. We also had the late great Burt Reynolds voiced in that game. It was pretty good. I think he was the mayor in that too, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was like the first time I could honestly say in video game franchises that Burt Reynolds was featured in both Saints Row and um GTA. So I commend them for snagging somebody like him before he had passed on a few years back. But yeah, I honestly I gotta say I like the graphics. The scenery looks pretty good. I really can't say much more about it. I know that this was supposed to be a long-awaited discussion about GTA 6, and I'm really excited to see how the game is gonna play out for the community. And I'm kind of interested to see what the story is. It looks like for those of you who might have seen the trailer, it looks like, Homegirl was, did some time and now, she's out with, you know, Jason, who's I guess her boyfriend, and they're gonna be, I guess, doing what they gotta do to survive in Vice City. Um right now I'm really hype, but it's just that I just wish that it didn't have to be such a long wait. And I know a lot of people were upset about that or a bit peeved. So they had a lot of memes that said that we got so and so before GTA 6 dropped. Like I don't know, so many different things happened in the course of time since this trailer has dropped back in May. Um but with that being said, I guess I could get you guys up to speed as to what happened with me personally. Um, like, okay, so if anybody has been living under a rock, we've so far this year we've lost a lot of people in the entertainment industry, a lot of people that meant a lot to so many people, whether it's, I guess fashion, whether it's culinary, music, acting, the world of sports entertainment, specifically pro wrestling. Um, I think honestly, it's this year, I would say it's been pretty hard, Um, with looking forward to playing things like GTA 6 and just looking forward to what's next on the horizon. Honestly, I just want to take a time to like just reflect on a lot of things. Um, we I would like to talk about a few things. I guess I have the time to do it, right? Um, so I don't know who's gonna hear this, but a few months back I had a death in the family. Um, and it kind of like changed a lot of things that had happened. It just as a result of that, a lot of things have happened. Not some nice things, but you know, I I don't want to get too like I don't want to mention too much, but it had a negative um there was a negativity behind it. Um and to some degree, we're still kind of sort of feeling the effects of it. Um but I think we are doing a bit better. It's not an easy thing when you lose someone, especially someone close, and it changes you. It changes you in ways that um you don't really expect. Uh like I don't know, these last few months have been just nuts. Like I I would hope things would get better. But, I'm always told tomorrow isn't promised to no one. And it's just life is too short, to be dwelling on a lot of things. And what I've what I've noticed about myself as time is going on, you experience things for a reason. And I don't know if it's, being tested by a higher power, but there's sometimes people are put in your lives for a reason, and there's sometimes they're put to leave. And I experienced something like that recently. I don't want to get into it too much with in case if, someone knows specifically who I'm referring to. But, when you lose someone out of your life, and especially the way how it happened, it makes you feel a whole bunch of emotions. And I've went through a slew of emotions um the first couple of weeks after it happened. I I can feel comfortable talking about it in the sense that, when it happened, I think I was more shocked and surprised because I didn't understand why it was happening. And I think I led too much with my emotions because I'm an emotional person, and I know that my emotions overwhelm people, and I hate to be that person because I wouldn't want to. I don't know. It's just hard to talk about it because I'm trying to find the words, you know. I think the part of it that I miss was talking to the person a lot. And it's not even about talking about like, personal things. It's just other things I do miss. But I come to understand and I could take fault in my own personal shortcomings. Um I could say that I was too emotionally I relied too much on them for emotional support. Like when I look back on a lot of it, or if not all of it, um, like anytime like I was having problems or something, I somehow managed to gravitate to this person and just completely just complain about like everything that it was almost as if they were like my life coach or therapist or something like that. And I really didn't think of them in that way, but to me, I think clearly that this was leaning heavily or on them a lot. And I don't think that they could deal with it anymore. And I just wish it wasn't as explosive as it was. And I think a lot of things were misconstrued and a lot of misunderstandings. But that's just from my perspective. I don't really see I don't really see what I see of certain things that were said, but I can see from like I guess from if I was looking at it from an outsider's perspective. But other than that, you miss people, and sometimes when you mourn the loss of someone, which is whether it's a physical death or death of a relationship or a friendship. It hurts, but in time, I think you have to understand what you what part you played in it and accept the part that you played in it and accept the fact that you know the mistakes that you've made and take accountability for your actions because at the end of the day, you can only be responsible for yourself. You can't be responsible for everyone else or the other person. So I think that is something that I'm actually looking into. I started reading some books. I started like just thinking about things. I wrote down how I was feeling and I let it out into the air. I just was with a friend the other day and I just like yelled it out into the air and we were vibing and I told her like, yeah, I'm pissed and I wasn't pissed, but I I was still in an emotional state. And I just was like, you know what? Let me just write how I feel and just let it out in the air and you know, and it was very therapeutic. Like I felt like there was a freeing of, I felt like a weight had been lifted and certain things that I had wanted to say, um, that I said out loud into the air, because I felt bottled up. Like I felt like there was something in me that I just couldn't, I had to, I wanted to let it go, you know? Um, I realized that there's aspects of the friendship that I miss terribly. I do. Like, for instance, like today, I received some bad news and I had wanted to reach for the phone and call them. And I realized I said, you can't, you know? Um, it was about I had a health concern and I wanted to call them because the first thing I felt was when I came home, I felt that urge to call them. And I said, no, I can't do that. because this person is no longer in your life and that's it. So I just like I don't know, man. I think I'm pretty strong in the sense that I'm surprised I didn't crumple out in the street, when I first got the news. But I think when I finally came home and I sat down and I thought about it, that's when I started to get upset. And I realized that I just can't. I'm not gonna let this stop me, Like there's so many bad things that have happened to me in the course of my life, and there was always many times that I always said I wanted to give up and quit. There was always something in me, that little spark that always kept on telling me to keep going because to give up would mean that I failed, and I don't like to fail. I failed at you know maintaining relationships with so many people, but I didn't want to fail on this. Like it's important to me, and it's just that I just want to be better and I want to do better. So moving forward, I have to make some several choices. I can't eat the same things that I used to. I can't drink the same things that I used to. I may have to cut it down in certain quantities, but it's sad, because I always thought that, I was good. I never felt like I had those issues before, but there was something in the back of my mind that kept telling me, you know what, Samantha, there's some issues going on with you that you need to look at. And I'm glad that I made a decision to go to the doctor and find out what was going on because something just didn't feel right to me. Like I always wondered why I sweat so much, like why like it's just pouring, like it just didn't feel normal to me because when I was younger, I used to sweat, but it wasn't like, oh, we're just like it's just raining. Like I look like I done got like I splashed water on my face. Like I always wondered like what was going on with me. And now I know. So the next um step is to get healthy and make healthier choices, right? So I know this was a lot. This episode was just about to only be about GTA 6 and what I thought about the game and but I just started thinking about a lot of things and a lot of stuff that had happened in the course of the months since the trailer had come out, and I'm just thinking like, life and the preciousness of life and being around supportive people, positive people who are, and not to be surrounded by so much negativity. And despite what people may think, I do want them to be happy. I want them to experience love and all that other stuff. I wouldn't say this if I wouldn't mean it, like I wouldn't take the time to. But I just think that we're all here for a limited amount of time, and we have to make the best of the time that we have with ourselves and with each other. So I don't know. Like that's pretty much my feelings on it. Um yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think what would be like the next episode, what we should talk about. I don't know, like something a little bit more upbeat because this is like the third time I done talked about myself personally. So I don't know if anybody cares about hearing me talk about myself personally, but um I guess we'll just talk about whatever. I mean, I this wasn't like a well thought up episode, apparently, because I'm like all over the place. But I would like to have another episode where we could talk about like maybe we could finally wrap up Lore Olympus. I'm telling you, like I've completely just stopped reading that thing, and I know my friend Abby would love to talk about the final part of it because there's some things that I wanted to talk to her about, and I haven't gotten a chance to. With that being said, um. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I haven't told you guys. Oh, well, I have a cat. Her name is Mimi. There was a long story behind that too. She was my mom's cat, and now she's mine, and she's been with me for um, wow, she's actually been with me for a year now. Mimi's been with me. I've been around Mimi since she was a kitten. So she's now officially, I think, around 2 years old now. Because we got her maybe a few weeks after she was born. She was still like, her eyes were open. She was still, making a mess of things. But she she's something else. She's a character, I'll tell you that. She's very spicy, this one. Very spicy. She's currently sleeping, so I'm pretty sure once I get up, she's gonna start moving around. Um, there are a few things that I wanted to discuss. There are some fashion shows coming up, and I might be taking a part of being a part of it, not taking a part, but being a part of shows in some capacity. Infinite Exposure has another show coming up soon, I believe in September, within a few weeks' time. And my friend Abigail is actually who you guys heard before on the show. She has a show coming up this Sunday. Oh, excuse me, this Saturday. I will probably come back with some further details on that show. I just have to go and look for the details. It's somewhere in the city. I know that for sure, and it'll be a delight. I actually have to call her. So yeah, this has been a really unorthodox episode for me. I'm usually a bit more prepared than this today, but I don't know, I'm just doing this off the cuff. There's been a lot of stuff that I just been trying to deal with, and honestly, it's just been overwhelming. Um, and I just came back from taking some 3 days off from work. Honestly, I think I feel like I need need more days because it wasn't enough. I didn't feel like I really got to relax as much as I would have loved to relax, but it is what it is, to be honest. Beggars can't be choosers. So, and it's back to work for me again tomorrow. So, you know, the grind never stops, just keeps on going. So, I guess that's it, guys. This is Samantha K, and this is the Samantha K Experience, and I'm signing out. Good night.